moment that we have been awaiting for has come at last, and we are all set to celebrate the 75th year of the High Court of Orissa. And this August Assembly will witness felicitation of former Chief Justices, judges of Orissa High Court, and we are extremely delighted to have in our midst Justice B.R. Gavai, Judge Supreme Court of India, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice of Orissa High Court, Hon'Ble Sri Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, and I request all of you to please give a standing ovation to our esteemed guests of the occasion, those who are entering the stage. Hon'Ble Sri Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice Vidyut Ranjan Sharangi, Hon'Ble Judge High Court of Orissa, Hon'Ble Sri Justice Vishwanath Ratha, Judge High Court of Orissa, Sri Ashok Kumar Parija, esteemed Advocate General Orissa, Sri Dharanidhar Naik, President High Court Bar Association. With the gracious presence, adding lustre to this program, our esteemed guests of the occasion, they are going to adorn the dais. We are extremely delighted beyond measures to say our heartfelt gratitude to all of you. And the celebration of the 75th year of the High Court of Orissa and felicitation of former Chief Justices and former judges of the High Court of Orissa, we are extremely honored with the gracious presence of Hon'Ble Sri Justice B.R. Gavai, Judge Supreme Court of India, in the presence of Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice of Orissa High Court, and the Honorable Judges of High Court of Orissa. Satyameva Jayate, Satyabratan, Satyaparang Trishatyam, Satyasya Jonim Nihitang Cha Shakti, Satyasya Satya Mrutashatya Netrang, Satyatmakang Tvam Saranang Prapanna. As truth triumphs in the end and truth manifests divinity, may truth lead us to our ultimate destination. सत्य और न्यायर परम अधिष्ठान ओडिशा उच्च न्यायालय प्रतिष्ठार 75 वर्ष पूर्ति अवसर में आयोजित यह भव्य समावेश और संबर्धना समारोह रे आपण मान को प्रीतिभरा अभिनंदन अर्पण करूँ. Good morning to all of you to the celebration of 75th year of the High Court of Orissa and the cattle of truth. The August Assembly is all set to witness our reverence and heartfelt felicitation to the former Chief Justices of India, Chief Justices of the High Court of Orissa, and the former judges of the High Court of Orissa. May I seek the kind permission of the esteemed Chief Guest to declare the function open. The function is declared open. May we begin the auspicious occasion by paying homage to our state, Orissa. I request all present to kindly rise for rendition of the state song Bande Utkala Janani, composed by Kanta Kavi Lakshmikanta Mahapatra. Thank you. May I have the honor of requesting Honorable Dr. Justice Vidyut Ranjan Shahangi, Judge High Court of Orissa, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Justice Vidyut Ranjan Shahangi.
Honorable my Lord Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge Supreme Court India, and the Chief Guest of this historic event, our affectionate Chief Justice, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa, Honorable Mr. Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Deepak Misra, former Chief Justice of India, and respected Madam Mrs. Suprama Mishra, Revered Honorable former judges of Supreme Court of India present, who were also the Chief Justice of this High Court, respected Honorable former Chief Justices of this High Court present amongst us today, all the venerated Honorable former judges of High Court of Orissa present, including the Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, presently the Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court, Brother Justice C.R. Das, Judge of Calcutta High Court, and Brother Justice S.N. Prasad, Judge Jharkhand High Court. My esteemed brother and sister judges of this High Court, including Brother Justice Vishwanath Ratha, Mr. Ashok Kumar Parija, Advocate General Orissa, and his team of government councils present, Mr. Dhanindra Naik, President, and all other office bearers of the High Court of Bar Association present, all the respected madam present here, and senior advocates and members of the bar present, high officials and officers of Government of Orissa present, all our enthusiastic registry officers, judicial officers, staff of the High Court of present, representative of the print and electronic media, all other distinguished guests present, ladies and gentlemen. I am extremely delighted and feel it my proud privilege that in getting an opportunity to extend to you all very warm welcome on behalf of the High Court of Orissa and on my own behalf, especially on this momentous and historic occasion when we have got the immutable chance to felicitate our esteemed former Chief Justices and judges of this magnificent institution and respected madams, spouses of former Chief Justices and judges, as a part of celebration of exalting 75 years establishment of High Court of Orissa, which began its journey on 26th July 1948. In reality, I am thrilled with overjoyed and not able to believe myself that I am standing in the midst of all our erudite Chief Justices and judges of Supreme Court of India, intellectuals, former Chief Justices, and judges of this High Court, before whom we have begun our practice, and some of whom even after taught us during our beginning of life in the profession. I truly feeling short of words as to what to speak before this shining galaxy of learned and intellectual judges, the doyen of the Indian judicial system, the senior guardians of the High Court of Orissa, and I'm thinking as to how I can welcome them to their own institution. Be that as it may, let me begin by acknowledging that today we have privilege and feeling honored by gracious presence of Honorable My Lord Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge of Supreme Court of India, in our midst as our chief guest. As you know, His Lordship's dedication to cause of law is well known to everybody. Humility and simplicity are the hallmark of Justice Gawai, and it acts as a cloak to his great intellect and knowledge. Sir, on behalf of the High Court, including the employees and the learned members of the bar, I heartily welcome you, Your Lordship, to this sanctified. We welcome you with our abundance love to our state of Orissa, to the land of Lord Jagannath, to this millennium city of Cuttack, having pleasingly rich in its cultural heritage, tradition and conviction. Please welcome His Lordship with my giving a big round of applause. I am taking this opportunity to welcome to our leader, our caring and affectionate Chief Justice, Dr. Justice S. Mulidhar, to this function. I must tell all of you that he is mastermind of today's historic function, and as we all know, that his commitment and contribution in the development of the Orissa High Court and State Judiciary of Orissa cannot be described in few words. In short, only I can mention that he has given a special repute and recognition to the High Court of Orissa in the national, even in international level. Besides other, in the field of digitization, judicial archives, preservation of records, he has made the High Court of Orissa #1 in the country. Apart from the same, so far as infrastructure of our state judiciary is concerned, the brainchild of Honorable Mr. Justice Binis Saran is being implemented by letter and spirit by my Lord the Chief Justice, none other than Justice S. Mulidhar. The entire High Court and the State Judiciary heartily welcome you, sir, especially thanking you for all of your dedicated efforts towards the development of the institution. Give a big hand for our Chief Justice, Dr. S. Mulidhar. This historic occasion gives an opportunity to recall and remember all the honorable Chief Justices and judges who adorned the bench of this High Court and played a pivotal role not only in the development of law and dispensation of justice, but also for their contribution in the growth of development of the institution. On this momentous occasion, we are also grateful by the presence of Honorable Mr. Justice G.B. Patnaik and Honorable Mr. Justice Deepak Misra, the former Chief Justice of India, the able son of this soil and guardians of this institution, and I extend our cordial welcome to them and to back to their home to grace this occasion. We extend a jovial and affectionate welcome to all the honorable former Supreme Court judges who were the former Chief Justices and judges of this court, all the former Chief Justices and judges present to their own High Court and in their wholly historic event. All of you can present today has proved and shows the unparalleled love and affection you still have this institution and to all of us as well. In true sense, we are indebted to all of you that you have all glorified this event by your presence. The High Court of Orissa always remembers all of you unique contribution towards its development and its journey of 75 years. The celebration of this historic occasion with all of your gracious presence will remain in annal of High Court of Orissa. All the memorable day, on behalf of my learned sister and brother judges, member of the bar, the staff of this court, and myself, it is my unique privilege to extend a very affable welcome to all the respected madams present here, and your presence has just equally lavished this occasion. and is a great source of inspiration and encouragement to all of us. Give a big hand for all our loving Honorable Chief Justices and judges and all respected madams present as a token of our love and affection. A warm welcome to Sri Ashok Kumar Parija, the learned Advocate General and his team of officers, Sri Dharanidhar Naik, the President of Orissa High Court Bar Association and his office bearers, Sri P.K. Pari, Learned Deputy Solicitor General and his team of officers, learned respected senior advocates and all the members of the legal fraternity, my devoted officers and staffs of this High Court, officials of the government, members of the print and electronic media, and each of everyone present here. I am also duty bound to welcome all my learned sister and brother judges whose selfless cooperation and constant support made organizing this grand function possible. In the presence of all our former Honorable Chief Justices and Honorable Judges, that we cannot afford to be oblivious of the apparent that this institution has grown and is further growing with all your support and care. Your cooperation and guardianship for the overall growth of this institution is indispensable. Therefore, on behalf of the High Court of Orissa, I humbly request all of you to keep your blessings on all of us and continue extending support for further well-being of this great institution. I thank each one of us and each one of you for your kind presence and for gracing this occasion. With these words, I conclude my welcome speech with a warm welcome to one and all, including those about whom I have made a special mention, those about whom I do not but want of time, though not for want of space in my heart. Thank you. Jai Jagannath, Jai Hind, Vande Utkal Janani.
Thank you, sir, for your warm and cordial words of welcome. May I have the honor of requesting Sri Dharanidhar Naik, Senior Advocate and the President of the Orissa High Court Bar Association, to kindly deliver his address.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Justice G.R. Gavai, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Deepak Misra, former Chief Justice of Supreme Court, Honorable Chief Justice Dr. S. Muralidharan, the Honorable Justice B.R. Solangi, Honorable Justice Vishwanath Ratha, the Honorable Advocate General, the judges, both former and present judges present in this august gathering, senior advocates, members of the bar, and all my friends, ladies and gentlemen. This is an occasion when we are celebrating the 75th years of the existence of the Orissa High Court. A short history I am placing. When Orissa and Bihar got separated from Bengal Patna High Court, came into existence with effect from 26th February 1916 with one judge seat. District judge in Orissa being under the jurisdiction of the Patna High Court. The Patna High Court began sitting in Circuit Court from 18th May 1916. The then President of Kotak Bar Association, Utkal Gaurav Madhusudan Das, had expressed the hope that Orissa is in need of a permanent bench in Cuttack. The state of Orissa was created in 1st April 1936, and thereafter there was an increasing demand of a high court in Orissa. With the efforts of several persons, eminence as that of Birokeshwar Rai, the then Advocate General Vichitrananda Das, Rai Bahadur, Chindamani Acharya, the then President of Orissa High Court Bar Associations, and others, on 30th April 1948, the Governor General of India, in exercise of the power conferred by Section 229, subsection 1 of the Government of India Act 1935, issued the Orissa High Court Orders 1948, providing for constitution of the High Court for province of Orissa from 5th July 1948. Subsequently, by Orissa High Court Order 1948, the date of formation was changed to 26th July 1948. On July 26, 1948, Orissa High Court, with the Birokeshwar Rai as the Chief Justice and Sri B. Jagannath Das, Sri L. Panigrahi and Sri R. L. Narasimham as Punishers was inaugurated by H. J. Kania, the then Chief Justice of the Federal Court of India, with the strength of 4 judges. The High Court had initially started with 4 judges, and as now the sanction strength of the judges is 33. Currently, the High Court is functioning with a strength of 21 sitting judges. The High Court started functioning from an existing civil court building, and the new High Court building was inaugurated on 11th November 2012.
Good morning. Honorable Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Chief Justice of this morning function. Honorable Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice of High Court. Honorable Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India. Honorable Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India. Honorable Dr. Justice B.R. Sadangi, Judge, High Court of Orissa. Justice Vishwanath Ratha, Judge, High Court of Orissa. Sri Dharandhar Naik, President of the High Court Bar Association. Former Judges of the Supreme Court of India. Serving Judges of the various High Courts of the country. Justice Sanjay Mishra, Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court. Justice, Honorable Judges of our High Court, Honorable Judges of different High Courts, former Judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court and their gracious spouses, Sri Prasanna Kumar Padi, Deputy Solicitor General of India, members of the Registry who have tirelessly worked for making this event a grand success, office bearers of the High Court Bar Association, respected senior members of the bar, and my junior colleagues. Today is a historic moment as we are in the midst of honorable judges who have contributed immensely to the building of this great institution. I am indeed grateful to Justice Gawai for agreeing to grace this occasion and being amidst us this morning. 75 years is no small time, and today as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of our High Court, we are not just celebrating the completion of 75 long years of pride and glory of this custodian institution, we are also celebrating its remarkable credibility and everlasting commitment to uphold the rule of law and more so to do justice. This long span almost symbolizes the fact that our High Court has lived up to the trust and faith and reposed upon it by the citizens of our state. Our High Court began its momentous journey with 4 judges, which included the first Chief Justice, Justice Birokeshwar Rai, who played a significant role in its formation. Till date, we have 3 Chief Justices of India from our High Court. 2 of them are gracing this occasion today, apart from several distinguished Supreme Court judges who have been elevated from our High Court and are presently with us today. Right from its inception, our High Court has been a beacon of hope for the helpless, and its doors have always been open for the voiceless and destitute. Our High Court has always been in the forefront of protecting and furthering constitutional principles while contributing to the development of legal jurisprudence in this country. Protecting the rights of citizens has always been our High Court's top priority. A short detour. I joined the bar in 1984. I have seen some outstanding judges in the bench. I have consciously decided not to name the name of all the retired judges, as there are so many outstanding judges sitting in front of me. However, I cannot resist mentioning a few names who mentored me in this profession. Chief Justice G.B. Patnaik, Chief Justice Deepak Mishra, Justice Arijit Pasayat, Justice A.K. Patnaik, Justice Gopala Gowda, Justice Sujit Barman Roy, Justice Vinit Saran. It was such a pleasure appearing before them, and I learned so much from them. The bar also had some outstanding senior counsels. Late Gangadhar Ratha, late Barrister Ranjit Mahanti, late Barrister B.M. Patnaik, late Sri Bipin Bihari Ratha, and Sri Vijay Krishna Mahanti, who is amidst us this morning. They were all doyens of the bar who mentored juniors like me. With time, as the idea of faith and justice, as well accessibility thereto increased and resonated with the masses, so did the institution of cases increase manifold. A requirement was felt to expand the functioning and infrastructure of our High Court. There was a need for new courtrooms, more judges and more staff. Addressing this issue on the infrastructure front, the Orissa High Court from January 2014 began functioning from its new 8-building storage. However, under the leadership of Chief Justice Vineet Saran, the old building of the High Court, which was lying unused, started functioning, which ensured that the heritage and tradition of this High Court was preserved. It is my duty to call out the achievements of High Court under the leadership of Chief Justice Muralidhar. Justice Muralidhar was sworn in as the Chief Justice of the Orissa High Court on 4th of January 2021, when deadly COVID-19 pandemic was at its peak. However, that did not deter Justice Muralidhar and his brother and sister judges to do their judicial duties. Virtual court was made the new normal. We all appeared virtually before the Orissa High Court, and I am glad that till date our courts are functioning on a hybrid mode, which permits appearance both virtually and physically. Within a short span of 2 years, I see the High Court under the stewardship of Justice Muralidhar transform and also lead the way in several best practices aimed at easing delivery of justice. Justice Muralidhar, during his short tenure, along with the able guidance of Justice Vineet Saran, has overseen and ensured the elevation of highest number of judges, significantly addressing the perennial problem of vacancy in judicial posts. Last year, on 2nd February 22, under his supervision, the sanction strength of the High Court was increased from 27 to 33. The number of cases disposed by the High Court and the case clearance rate have both risen manifold. Under the dynamic, visionary leadership of Chief Justice Muralidhar and his able companion judges, our High Court is working tirelessly to embrace technology and make justice truly accessible to all. With the inauguration of virtual courtrooms, paperless courts, vulnerable witness deposition centers, district court digitization centers, record room digitization centers, paperless office, e-libraries for lawyers all over the country, all over the state, inauguration of e-filing stations, help desks, and setting up one-of-a-kind judicial infrastructure management agency in the country has demonstrated to the nation that Odisha's judiciary, under the aegis of the Orissa High Court, is truly leading the way when it comes to ease of justice delivery. Further, to preserve the rich judicial history of Orissa, the Center for Judicial Archives of Orissa and the Museum of Justice has been inaugurated. In the 75th year, to encourage young lawyers, the High Court has also decided to award Lawyer of the Year award to lawyers in the age group of 30 and 40 practicing in district courts. I am also deeply touched at the fact that the High Court, celebrating on completion of its 75 years, has also felicitated senior legal assistants, or muhuris as we call them, who have been instrumental in functioning and development of the High Court. On 28th of this month, the High Court is organizing another function to commemorate its senior advocates who have served this bar and the court. We must never confuse law and justice. What is often legal is often not just, and what is just is often not legal. These were the words Professor William P. Quigley, who wrote a letter to a law student interested in social justice and which has found mention in a convocation speech recently addressed by the incumbent Chief Justice of India, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud. This propels me to tell you that it has been over 75 years, and now the mammoth institution before which we have all gathered today has more often than not preferred justice over law. It is therefore the sacred duty of all of us to preserve the glory of the High Court of Orissa. I therefore urge honorable judges not just act legally but also act compassionately. As lawyers practicing in this court, it becomes our duty to do more pro bono work, be critical thinkers and be facilitators of societal change. We all have a duty cast upon us to handhold young lawyers and law students to uphold the further and rich legacy and tradition of our glorious court. As we pass on the baton to the future judges and lawyers of this honorable court, we must deeply inform them about the rich traditions of this honorable court. We must inculcate them with ethical values and sense of responsibility, befitting the high standards of our High Court. Let us reaffirm our commitment to the principle of justice, fairness and equality. Let us strive to strengthen our legal system and ensure that it remains accessible transparent and accountable. Let us look forward, creating a society.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words, highlighting how the High Court of Orissa has stood by the diligence, upholding the values of truth and justice. May I now have the proud privilege to request Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, the Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa, to deliver his address.
Pranam, Vande Utkala Jane. A very warm good morning to everyone assembled here. Justice Gawai, Judge Supreme Court of India, Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India, the former judges of the Supreme Court of India, the former Chief Justices of the High Court of Orissa, the former and present Chief Justices for other High Courts, my colleagues on the dais of the dais, former judges of the High Court of Orissa, serving judges of the other High Courts, the learned Advocate General, Shri Parija, Shri Nayak, the President of the High Court Bar Association, the Deputy Solicitor General for India and his team of members, the spouses of the judges, officers of the registry led by the Registrar General, all the senior advocates present here, members of the bar, judicial officers, staff, ladies and gentlemen. On 26th July this year, the High Court of Orissa will be achieving an important milestone in its history. It will be completing the 75th year of its existence. The High Court's judicial history commenced in 1916 when the Circuit Bench of the Patna High Court began holding its sittings in Cuttack. On that occasion, on 8th May 1916, Utkala Gaurav, Shri Madhusudan Das, as President of the Bar Association, stated, and I quote, "I am giving expression to the feelings of the millions in Odisha when I express a hope that this circuit court will become a permanent bench in the near future." Earlier, as a legislator, while responding to a question in the Assembly whether there should be a separate High Court for Bihar and Odisha, Shri Das articulated the demand in the following words, and I quote, "As regards the question of a High Court for the province, there cannot be two opinions. Whether it is convenient to the people of Odisha or whether it is convenient or inconvenient to the people who live at the further end of this province or of Bihar itself, that is a different question. That is a question of convenience, and perhaps it is also a financial aspect as regards litigants. But I believe, sir, that it is not possible to develop the province without having its highest tribunal located not in any particular place, without having its highest tribunal particularly interested in its large affairs." Even before the Constitution of India could be formally brought into force, the Orissa High Court Order 1948 was published on 30th April 1948. It announced that there shall be a High Court for the province of Orissa, which shall be a court of record and shall consist of a Chief Justice and such other judges as the Governor General from time to time, whether before or after the prescribed day, appoint in accordance with the provisions of Section 220 of the Government of India Act 1935. When the first 4 judges of the High Court of Orissa, including the indomitable first Chief Justice, Shri Birakrishore Rai, took their oaths of office on 26 July 1948, it was a moment of rejoicing. At the same time, it was, to quote Chief Justice Rai, a moment which assigns to us a very great and responsible task of grave import and consequences. The words uttered by Justice Rai on that day ring true even now. He said, and I quote, "We fully realize and are alive to the sense that justice is one of the bulwarks that sustain the edifice of independence of any people anywhere on the face of this earth. We fully realize, too, that it is up to this institution to uphold the rights, privileges and liberties of the people who are entitled to possess them unaffected and unmolested by any power on earth except through due process of law. We must all be alert and conscious at all times in all our actions and even our hope and expectations of one fundamental fact, namely that this institution has an aspect of universal absolutism. It is equal to all and partial to none." Unquote. In its long journey of 75 years, the bar and bench of Odisha have built an edifice on the foundation of the institution that was laid in 1916. In a metaphorical sense, the ground floor was completed in 1948. Today, we have in the High Court complex the heritage building standing proudly in front of a 7-storied annex building. The High Court is not just about its structures, but what happens within their walls. Institutional memory is important since the past in many ways shapes the present and leaves markers for the future. In this 75th year, the High Court of Orissa honors its former Chief Justices and judges who have nurtured the institution and helped it grow. The institution acknowledges their contribution to the development of the law, the legal traditions, reinforcing the rule of law that forms the bedrock of a democratic polity. We honor today the memory of late Justice Ranganath Mishra, the first of the judges of this court who adorned the highest judicial seat of the Chief Justice of India. We are privileged to be able to honor Justice G.V. Patnaik and Justice Deepak Mishra, each of whom became the Chief Justice of India and have been kind enough to be part of this function. We are equally privileged to honor each of the judges of this court who elevated as judges of the Supreme Court of India, as Chief Justices of this court and other high courts, and other former and serving judges present here. There are other judges who are not with us today, whose contributions the High Court gratefully acknowledges. They have enriched the jurisprudence of this country through their judicial pronouncements, many of which have stood the test of time, but are too numerous to be properly acknowledged in this brief speech. We also acknowledge that the judges have, in the discharge of their functions, been supported by their families and spouses, whose contribution also we acknowledge with gratitude. If today the High Court can claim that it has strived to deliver on the constitutional promise of equal and fair justice to all, then the credit for it must go not only to the judges who have dispensed justice sitting in its portals, but to a rich galaxy of the finest legal minds. Several brilliant advocates general, AGs, senior lawyers and advocates have brought cases and causes before the High Court, and through their presentation helped judges to deliver landmark judgments that have helped develop the law in its myriad branches. I may refer to only a few of the AGs, beginning with Swami Vichitrananda Das, Banchanidhi Mahapatra, Dinabandhu Sahu, Ashok Das, Gangadhar Ratha, Birendra Mohan Patnaik, Govind Das, Jagannath Patnaik, Vijay Krishna Mahanti, Shurya Prasad Mishra, and the present incumbent Shri Ashok Parija. Their work stands on the strong foundation laid by several legal luminaries, beginning with Utkala Gaurav Madhusudan Das, Utkala Mani Gopavandhu Das, Sadashiva Mishra, Rabindranath Sinha, Vibhudendra Mishra, Vishwanath Pasayat, Barrister Ranjit Manti, Vijay Pal, Prabir Palit, Ramakanta Mahapatra, Bipin Bihari Ratha, Vijan Bihari Rai, and numerous others. Pardon me for not mentioning all of them. I would definitely also mention Shri A.S. Naidu, who later adorned the bench, and several others. His chamber has itself produced many judges who later adorned the bench of the Odisha High Court. 20 days from now, on April 28th, which we celebrate as Lawyers' Day in Odisha, we will be honoring the former and the present Advocates General, as well as the lawyers who have completed 50 years in the legal profession. Only 1 week ago, we honored legal assistants who had completed 30 years in their avocation. The relationship between the bar and bench in this High Court, particularly in the last 2 years, has remained cordial, and there is no reason to believe that it will not be in future as well. The High Court of Orissa, when it began in July 1948, had 4 judges and around 2,000 cases. In 1978, its sanctioned strength rose to 8, and the number of pending cases rose to 7,057. The sanctioned strength rose to 12 in 1989, 16 in 1992, 22 in 2004, and 27 in 2010. In 2021, the sanctioned strength of the High Court rose to 33, owing to an increased workload as a result of nearly 40,000 cases pending in the Odisha Administrative Tribunal. I am glad to share with all of you that that pending load has, in just less than 2 years, come down to 5,700. In 2022, this court had a working strength of 24 judges, the highest ever in its history. With the retirement and transfer of some of our colleagues, the working strength today stands at 21 judges. The working strength in the district judiciary today stands at 811 judges. As regards the pendency in the district judiciary, it has risen from 30,000 cases in 1948 to 87,000 in 1978, and today the pendency in the 30 district courts stands at 18.32 lakhs. Although work did slow down a bit during the COVID-19 pandemic, the years of 2020 and 2021, the High Court and the district courts continued functioning in hybrid mode, and the institution and disposal of cases continued to grow. We often talk of arrears and pendency of cases and fail to acknowledge the actual work done by our courts. While in 2021, the High Court disposed of 1,05,334 cases, this figure rose to 1,36,599 in 2022. Correspondingly, while the district courts disposed of 2,28,669 cases in 2021, the figure rose to 5,15,392, a 116% improvement in 2022. Even in terms of judgments, the High Court delivered 2,118 judgments in 2022 as compared to 938 in 2021. The district courts delivered 72,806 judgments in 2021 and 1,61,263 judgments in 2022. The working staff strength in the High Court rose from 778 in 2021 to 930 in 2022. The improved performance of the High Court and the district judiciary is owed to several factors, many of which have been mentioned by the Learned Advocate General. We have better infrastructure now. Just in the last 2 years, we've been able to inaugurate 108 new courts and 19 new court complexes, 8 in the district courts and 13 in the taluka courts. The former judges of this court will be happy to know that each of the branches in the High Court, both judicial and non-judicial, have been completely refurbished with an entirely new ambience that would match any corporate office. In the High Court today, on the administrative side, the non-judicial branches and the Chief Justice's Secretariat are all paperless with the adoption of the Orissa Judicial Workflow Automation System, the OJWAS. Other measures include the increase in the working strength of judges and staff, case distribution rationalization, opening of the vulnerable witness deposition centers in every one of the 30 districts, virtual courts of the High Court in 20 districts, introduction of paperless courts, e-filing, provision of e-libraries for district court lawyers, and numerous other measures. All this has been possible because of the active cooperation of all my colleagues in the High Court, the judicial officers in the district, the High Court registry, the staff, and of course the lawyers and the legal assistants, both in the High Court and in the district courts. My judicial officers, who are themselves master trainers, have already conducted several hands-on training sessions in e-filing for members of the district bar and the High Court bar, as well as the legal assistants. The High Court has introduced a scheme that recognizes and rewards meritorious lawyers of the district courts in the age group of 30 to 40 years, and a separate scheme that acknowledges the work of the better performing district courts. Then we have the state-of-the-art record room digitization centers, which stores approximately 11 lakh files of disposed of cases of the High Court, and where nearly 300 persons are involved in scanning, verifying, and archiving case records. We have 4 district court digitization centers in Cuttack, Berhampur, Baleshwar, and Sambalpur, apart from 10 district court digitization center hubs to undertake the work of digitization of the disposed of records of the courts in all the remaining districts of Odisha. While looking into the future, this institution believes in being rooted firmly in its past by nurturing the rich traditions which have formed its strong foundation. The setting up of the Center for Judicial Archives, the revamping of the Museum of Justice are all testimony to this. In terms of improved accessibility and transparency, the High Court has facilitated visits by school children to its premises at least twice in a month, and the proceedings of 2 of its courts, including that of the Chief Justice, are being live streamed. Through all these measures, the judiciary in Odisha is witnessing a transformation in a positive way and creating a working atmosphere that incentivizes higher productivity of the judges and staff, both in the High Court and the district courts. The complete cooperation and assistance, both in terms of the provision of infrastructure and finance by the state government, has contributed to this in no small measure. Odisha is perhaps the only state to have an exclusive judicial infrastructure management agency. It is no doubt a work in progress and much remains to be done. For instance, while in the district judiciary, the presence of women is to the extent of almost 40%, there is scope for improvement of their numbers in the bar and in the bench in the High Court. Likewise, as regards the presence of persons belonging to the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, and persons with disabilities. The institution is moving ahead, strengthened by the confidence that the coming generation of judges and lawyers are committed to carrying forward the constitutional vision of delivering fair and equal justice to the people of Odisha. I believe with the infusion of younger lawyers who are sincere, hardworking and dedicated, and who are likely to be the torchbearers of their generation, the future of the bar is in safe hands. In 2016, the High Court celebrated the centennial of the sitting of the circuit bench of the Patna High Court in Odisha. The Chief Justice of India, Justice T.S. Thakur, while speaking on the occasion stated, and I quote, "We have done well that is evident from the fact that judiciary today is one of the most respected institutions which has suffered the least erosion or aberration. But when it comes to the judiciary, the confidence of the people over the years has multiplied, increased, strengthened, and that is what makes our challenge greater. Because to live up to the confidence of the people by continued hard work and by rectitude is not an easy task. You are permanently, and you're almost every moment in the court, outside the court, working under public gaze. People watch you, people assess you, people judge you, and they're not hesitant in passing judgments also. Some of them are unpleasant, some of them pleasant, but the fact remains that judiciary has maintained its credibility no matter the challenges of credibility keep multiplying. It is also time for us to introspect, because there are no successes and rewards only. There are failures and shortcomings also. An occasion like this must put us to thought whether we have failed in some respects, and if so, where we have failed and what we need to do to correct those failures." Unquote. Those words are even more relevant today. The expectations of the people of Odisha from its judges is growing, and we must not be found wanting in our efforts to help them realize their aspirations and hopes for equal and fair justice. The High Court has to be ever ready to introspect, to learn from its failures, to be responsive to the changing needs of the time, and to continue to be relevant to the people whose needs for justice it is supposed to serve. On a day like this, we resolve once again to work even harder in contributing to the mission of being an institution that is increasingly accessible, inclusive, transparent, and accountable to the people of Odisha. That is, I believe, the best tribute we can pay to this galaxy of former Chief Justices and judges of this court assembled here, who have devoted a good part of their life in building this institution and helping it reach where it stands today. I will not take more time to thank everyone making this event possible. It is with a sense of satisfaction that as Chief Justice of this court, I record my deep gratitude to everyone who has made this wonderful event possible. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your illuminating words and encouraging gesture to make this function a memorable one. While celebrating the 75th year of the High Court of Orissa, we cannot but remind ourselves of the journey traversed so far. I would like to request the technical team for screening of a short video.
Appointed as the 21st Chief Justice of India on 25th September 1990, Justice Gopal Vallabh Patnaik. Appointed as judge on 1st June 1983 and served till 18th May 1995. Appointed as the Chief Justice of Patna High Court on 19th May 1995. Elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 9th September 1995. Appointed as the 32nd Chief Justice of India on 8th November 2002. Justice Deepak Mishra. Appointed as Judge on 17th January 1996. Appointed as the Chief Justice of Patna High Court on 23rd December 2009. Appointed as the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court on 24th May 2010. Elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 10th October 2011. Appointed as the 45th Chief Justice of India on 28th August 2017. Judges of the High Court of Orissa who were elevated to the Supreme Court of India. Justice Bachu Jagannath Das. Appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 26 July 1948. appointed as the second Chief Justice on 31st October 1951, elevated as the Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 4th March 1953, thereby becoming the first Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa to do so. Justice Radhacharan Patnaik, appointed as Judge on 18th September 1981, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 3rd December 1991. Justice Banwari Lal Hansaria, appointed as Judge of the Guwahati High Court on 12th February 1979, appointed as the 13th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 22nd February 1990, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 14th December 1993, Justice Girish Thakurlal Nanavati, appointed as Judge of the High Court of Orissa on 14th February 1993, sworn in as the 14th Chief Justice on 31st January 1994, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 6th March 1995, Justice Debapriya Mahapatra, appointed as Judge on 18th November 1983, appointed as the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court on 16th February 1996, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 9th December 1998, Justice Sailendu Nath Fukan, appointed as Judge of the Guwahati High Court on 11th October 1985, appointed as the 16th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 2nd August 1996, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 28th January 1999, Justice Biswanath Agarwal, appointed as Judge of Patna High Court on 17th November 1986, appointed as the 17th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 18th November 1999, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 19th October 2000, Justice Arijit Pasayat, appointed as Judge on 20th March 1989, appointed as the Chief Justice of Kerala High Court on 20th September 1999, appointed as Chief Justice of Delhi High Court on 10th May 2000, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 19th October 2001, Justice P. Krishna Iyer Balasubramanian, appointed as Judge of Kerala High Court, elevated as the 19th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 5th December 2001, appointed as Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court on 11th March 2003, elevated as Judge of Supreme Court of India on 27th August 2004, Justice Ashok Kumar Ganguly, appointed as Judge of Calcutta High Court on 10th January 1994, appointed as the 21st Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 2nd March 2007, appointed as Chief Justice of Madras High Court on 19th May 2008, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 17th December 2008, Justice Balbir Singh Chauhan, appointed as Judge of Allahabad High Court on 5th April 1995, appointed as the 19th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 5th December 2001, appointed as Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court on 11th March 2003, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 27th August 2004, Justice Ananga Kumar Patnaik, appointed as Judge on 13th January 1994, appointed as Judge of Guwahati High Court on 7th February 1994, appointed as the Chief Justice of Chhattisgarh High Court on 14th March 2005, appointed as Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh High Court on 2nd October 2005, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 17th November 2009, Justice V.G. Gopalagowda, appointed as Judge of Karnataka High Court on 11th June 1997, appointed as 24th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 25th March 2010, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 24th December 2012, Justice C. Nagappan, appointed as Judge of Madras High Court on 27th September 2000, appointed as the 25th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 27th February 2013, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 19th September 2013, Justice Adarsh Kumar Goel, appointed as the 26th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 12th October 2013, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 7th July 2014, Justice Amitav Roy, appointed as the Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court on 2nd January 2013, appointed as the 27th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 6th August 2014, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 27th February 2015, Justice Vineet Saran, appointed as Judge of Allahabad High Court on 14th February 2002, appointed as Judge of Karnataka High Court on 16th February 2015, appointed as the 29th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 26th February 2016, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 7th August 2018. Chief Justices of the High Court of Orissa, who also became Chief Justice in other High Courts. Justice D.H. Waghela, appointed as Additional Judge of Gujarat High Court on 17 September 1999, appointed as the 28th Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 4th June 2015, appointed as Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court on 15th February 2016, Justice Mohammad Rafiq, appointed as Judge of Rajasthan High Court on 15th May 2006, took charge as the Acting Chief Justice twice during his tenure there, elevated as Chief Justice of Meghalaya High Court on 13th November 2019, sworn in as the 31st Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 27th April 2020, appointed as Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh High Court on 31st December 2020, appointed as Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court on 9th October 2021, former judges who served as Chief Justice of other High Courts. Honorable Mr. Justice Jugal Kishore Mahanti, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa, appointed as the Chief Justice of Sikkim High Court, Justice Brajanath Mishra, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 5th January 1981, appointed as the Chief Justice of Sikkim High Court on 20th January 1990, Justice Radhakrishna Patra, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 22nd June 1992, appointed as the Chief Justice of Sikkim High Court on 9th July 2003, Justice Prafulla Kumar Mishra, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 17th January 1996, appointed as Chief Justice of Patna High Court on 12th August 2009, Justice Lakshmikanta Mahapatra, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 16th September 1999, appointed as the Chief Justice of Manipur High Court on 10th July 2014, Justice Pradeep Kumar Mahanti, sworn in as Judge of the High Court of Orissa on 7th March 2002, sworn in as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 7th March 2002, took charge as the Acting Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa several times, appointed as the Chief Justice of the Jharkhand High Court on 24th March 2017, Justice Indrajit Mahanti, elevated as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 31st March 2006, appointed as Judge of Bombay High Court on 14th November 2018, appointed as Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court on 6th October 2019, appointed as the Chief Justice of High Court of Tripura on 12th October 2021, Justice S.K. Mishra, elevated as Judge of the High Court of Orissa on 7th October 2009, appointed as the Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court on 20th February 2023, Justice Jaswant Singh, appointed as Judge of the Punjab and Haryana High Court on 5th December 2007, appointed as Judge in High Court of Orissa on 8th October 2021, appointed as the Chief Justice of High Court of Tripura on 15th February 2023. Women Judges of the High Court of Orissa. Justice Amir Kumar Padi, appointed as Judge on 18th April 1988, thereby becoming the first female judge, and served as Judge of High Court of Orissa till 14th September 1995. Justice Aruna Suresh, appointed as Judge of Delhi High Court on 4th July 2006, sworn in as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 28th October 2010. Dr. Justice Sanju Panda, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 1st March 2007. Justice Sabitri Ratho, appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 11th June 2020. Other Chief Justices of the High Court of Orissa. Honorable Mr. Justice Khalil Ahmad was appointed as the 5th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 18th January 1965. Honorable Mr. Justice Satyabhushan Burman was appointed as the 6th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 6th April 1967. Honorable Mr. Justice Gauti Krishna Misra was appointed as the 7th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 1st May 1969. Honorable Mr. Justice Sibanarayan Sankar was appointed as the 8th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 1st November 1975. Honorable Mr. Justice Sukanta Kishore Rai was appointed as the 9th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 13th October 1977. Honorable Mr. Justice Dambarudhara Pathak was appointed as the 11th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 11th August 1983. Honorable Mr. Justice Harilal Agarwal was appointed as the 12th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 1st May 1986. Honorable Mr. Justice Vallabh Das Aidan Mohta was appointed as the 15th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 28th September 1994. Honorable Mr. Justice Nyaka Yellappa Hanuman Thapa was appointed as the 18th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 17th February 2001. Honorable Mr. Justice Sujit Barman Roy was appointed as the 20th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 9th April 2003. Honorable Mr. Justice Bilal Najti was appointed as the 23rd Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 14th November 2009. Honorable Mr. Justice Kalpesh Satyendra Javeri was appointed as the 30th Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 12th August 2018. Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, the 32nd and the current Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa, was appointed on 4th January 2021. On April 1,
Thank you for being a part of this celebration. Now we shall felicitate our honored guests, and for this I shall hand over the podium to Sri Abhilas Senapati and Ms. Sukanya Satpathy, judicial officials, to conduct the program.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
May I now have the honor to request Honorable Chief Justice Bhushan Ramakrishna Gawai, Judge Supreme Court of India, to felicitate the former Chief Justices of India, former Supreme Court Judges of India, former Chief Justices of the High Court of Orissa, Chief Justices of other High Court from High Court of Orissa. May I request His Lordship to kindly felicitate Honorable Chief Justice Gopal Ballabh Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India. His Lordship was appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 1st June 1983 and was elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 9th September 1995. His Lordship was appointed as the 32nd Chief Justice of India on 8th November 2002 and thereby becoming the second person from Odisha to do so. Honorable Chief Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India, and may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Arindam Sinha, Judge High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Suprama Mishra. His Lordship was elevated to the bench of the High Court of Orissa on 17th January 1996, elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 10th October 2011, and subsequently appointed as the 45th Chief Justice of India on 28th August 2017, thus becoming the third person from Odisha to do so. May I request Honorable Mr. Justice Arindam Sinha to kindly felicitate Madam Manju Mahapatra, spouse of late Justice D.P. Mahapatra, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. May I request Honorable Chief Justice Bhushan Ramakrishna Gawai, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly felicitate Honorable Dr. Justice Arijit Pasai, former Judge Supreme Court of India. And I request Honorable Mr. Justice Arindam Sinha, Judge High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Subala Pasai. His Lordship was appointed as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 20th March 1989 and was elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 19th October 2001. Honorable Shri Justice P. Krishna Iyer Balasubramanian, former Judge Supreme Court of India. And I request Honorable Mr. Justice Debabrata Das, Judge High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Geeta Subramanian. His Lordship was appointed as the Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 5th December 2001 and was elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 27th August 2004. I'd request everyone to give a big round of applause. Honorable Shri Justice Ashok Kumar Ganguly, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. His Lordship was appointed as the Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 2nd March 2007 and was elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 17th December 2008. Honorable Dr. Justice Ananga Kumar Patnaik, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. His Lordship was elevated as Judge of the High Court of Orissa on 13th January 1994 and was elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 17th November 2009. Honorable Shri Justice Venkata Gowda Gopala Gowda, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. His Lordship was elevated as Judge of Karnataka High Court on 11th June 1997, Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 25th March 2010, and was elevated as Judge of Supreme Court of India on 24th December 2012. Honorable Shri Justice Amitav Roy, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. His Lordship was elevated as Chief Justice of the High Court of Orissa on 6th August 2014 and was elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 27th February 2015. Honorable Shri Justice Vineet Saran, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. And I request Honorable Mr. Justice Debrata Das, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Uma Saran. His Lordship was elevated as the Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa from 26th February 2016 and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 7th August 2018. I would request everyone to give a big round of applause. Honorable Chief Justice Pradeep Kumar Mahanti, former Chief Justice, Jharkhand High Court. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa on 7th October 2009 and was elevated as Chief Justice of High Court of Jharkhand on 17th February 2023. Honorable Chief Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Chief Justice, Jharkhand High Court. And may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Debrata Das, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Madhumita Mishra. His Lordship was elevated to the High Court of Orissa on 7th October 2009 and was elevated as Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court on 20th February 2023. I'd request everyone to give a big round of applause. Shri Sujit Barman Roy, former Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa. And I request Honorable Shri Justice Sangam Kumar Sahu, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Krishna Barman Roy. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, Guwahati High Court on 14th November 1991 and was elevated as Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa on 9th April 2003. May I request Honorable Shri Justice Sangam Kumar Sahu, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Lakshmi Patra, spouse of late Justice R.K. Patra, former Chief Justice, Sikkim High Court. May I request Honorable Shri Justice Bhushan Ramakrishna Gawai, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to kindly felicitate Honorable Shri Justice Bilal Naski, former Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship was elevated as the Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa and served as such from 14th November 2009 to 17th November 2009. I would request everyone to continue giving a big round of applause. Honorable Shri Justice Kalpesh Satyendra Jhaveri, former Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship was elevated as Judge of Gujarat High Court on 7th March 2004 and elevated as the Chief Justice of High Court of Orissa on 12th August 2018. Honorable Shri Justice Prafulla Kumar Mishra, former Chief Justice, Patna High Court. And I request Honorable Shri Justice Sangam Kumar Sahu, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Bharati Mishra. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa on 17th January 1996. On 12th August 2009, he was elevated as Chief Justice of Patna High Court. Honorable Shri Justice Lakshmikanta Mahapatra, former Chief Justice, Manipur High Court. And I request Honorable Dr. Justice Sanjeev Kumar Panigrahi, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Neena Mahapatra. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa on 16th September 1999 and was elevated as Chief Justice, Manipur High Court on 10th July 2014. Shri Justice Jaswant Singh, former Chief Justice, Tripura High Court. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, Punjab and Haryana High Court on 5th December 2007 and got transferred to High Court of Orissa on 8th October 2021. His Lordship got elevated as Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa on 15th February 2023. Shri Justice Indrajit Mahanti. I would request Honorable Shri Justice Indrajit Mahanti, former Chief Justice, Tripura High Court, to kindly grace the stage. My Lord. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa on 31st March 2006 and was elevated as Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court on 6th October 2019 and then joined as Chief Justice of High Court of Tripura on 12th October 2021. May I now seek permission from the Chief Guest to request the technical team to screen a small video presentation on former and current judges of the High Court of Orissa. Thank you, sir. Court of Orissa. Judges in 1950s, Justice Souri Prasad Mahapatra, Justice Jagannath Mohanty, Justice Pitambar Mishra, Justice Param Kusum Venkata Balakrishna Rao, Justice Gopal Chandra Das, Justice Jai Krishna Misra, Justice Raj Kishore Das, judges in 1960s, Justice Abhimanyu Mishra, Justice Balakrishna Patra, Justice Sachidananda Acharya, Justice Birendra Chandra Das, judges in 1970s, Justice Vijay Kishore Rai, Justice Kunja Vihari Panda, Justice Prafulla Kishore Mahanti, Justice Nabakumar Das, judges in 1980s, Justice Balakrishna Behra, Justice Purna Chandra Mishra, Justice Krishna Prasad Mahapatra, Justice Sarat Chandra Mahapatra, Justice Lingaraj Ratha, Justice Vimulakonda Gopalaswamy, Justice Jagneshwar Das, Justice Jivan Mohan Mahapatra, Justice Kishore Chandra Jagdev Roy, Justice Subhranshu Kumar Mahanti, judges in 1990s, Justice Devendra Mohan Patnaik, Justice Vichitrananda Das, Justice Basudev Panigrahi, Justice Prakash Chandra Naik, Justice Kanhaiya Lal Srani, Justice Vijay Narayan Patnaik, Justice Susanta Chatterjee, Justice Pradipta Rai, Justice Ratnakar Das, Justice Pradyumna Kumar Mahanti, Justice Chiraranjan Pal, Justice Sambhu Charan Datta, Justice Anup Dev, Justice Prafulla Kumar Tripathi, Justice Chaudhary Pratap Kishore Misra, Justice Prashanna Kumar Patra, Justice Mutika Papanna, Justice A. Suryanarayan Naidu, judges in 21st century, Justice Arun Kumar Paricha, Justice Nityananda Prushti, Justice Jai Prakash Mishra, Justice Ashok Kumar Samantray, Justice Ishrat Masroor Kudusi, Justice Lalit Kumar Mishra, Justice S. R. Singaravelu, Justice H. S. Bhalla, Justice R. N. Biswal, Justice B. P. Das, Justice B. K. Mishra, Justice M. M. Das, Justice B. K. Patel, Justice B. N. Mahapatra, Justice Raghubir Das, Justice B. P. Rai, Justice Vinod Prasad, Justice B. K. Naik, Justice Chittaranjan Das, Justice S. C. Parija, Justice S.N. Prasad, Dr. Justice D.P. Chaudhary, Justice J.P. Das, Dr. Justice Akshay Kumar Ratha, Dr. Justice Akshay Kumar Mishra, Justice Pramath Patnaik, Justice Shatrughna Pujari, Justice Biswajit Mahanti, current judges of the High Court of Orissa, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, Justice Subhashish Talapatra, Dr. Justice Vidyut Ranjan Sarangi, Justice Arindam Sinha, Justice Debabrata Das, Justice Biswanath Ratha, Justice Sangam Kumar Sahu, Justice Krishna Ram Mahapatra, Justice Bibhu Prasad Rautray, Dr. Justice Sanjeev Kumar Panigrahi, Justice Savitri Ratha, Justice Mruganga Shekhar Sahu, Justice Radhakrishna Patnaik, Justice Ashikanta Mishra, Justice Aditya Kumar Mahapatra, Justice V. Narsingh, Justice Viraja Prasanna Satpathy, Justice Murahari Shri Raman, Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Justice Gauri Shankar Satpathy, Justice Chittaranjan Das, other.
Thank you. I now humbly request Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Honorable the Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, to kindly do the honors to felicitate and express our gratitude to the present judges of the other High Courts who have previously served in the High Court of Orissa and the former judges of High Court of Orissa. Honorable Sri Justice Chittaranjan Das, Judge, Calcutta High Court. His Lordship served as a judge of High Court of Orissa from 7th October 2009 until 20th June 2022. Honorable Sri Justice Sujit Narayan Prasad, Judge, Jharkhand High Court, and I also request Honorable Miss Justice Savitri Ratha, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Neeru Prasad. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 12th March 2015 until 22nd November 2018. Honorable Sri Justice Susanta Chatterjee, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Miss Justice Savitri Ratha, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Bullu Chatterjee. His Lordship served as a Judge in the High Court of Orissa from 22nd December 1994 until 1st April 1999. Honorable Sri Justice Prakash Chandra Naik, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 11th April 1994 until 14th April 2002. May I request Honorable Miss Justice Savitri Ratha, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Kanak Patnaik, spouse of late Justice B.N. Patnaik, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. May I request Honorable Sri Justice Mruganga Shekhar Sahu, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam V. Dharmamba, spouse of late Justice B. Gopalaswamy, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. I request the members of this audience to kindly give a big round of applause. Madam Prabha Patnaik, spouse of late Justice D.M. Patnaik, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. Honorable Shri Justice Basudev Panigrahi, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Radhakrishna Patnaik, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Vindhyawala Panigrahi. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 31st March 1994 until 20th April 1994, and again from 4th June 2001 until 9th July 2003. Honorable Shri Justice Pradipta Rai, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 9th January 1995 until 17th January 2005. Honorable Shri Justice Ratnakar Das, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Radhakrishna Patnaik, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Pramila Das. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 14th March 1995 till 19th December 1999. Honorable Shri Justice Pradyumna Kumar Mahanti, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 17th January 1996 till 1st January 2007. Honorable Shri Justice Prafulla Kumar Tripathi, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 14th June 1997 until 6th November 2009. Honorable Shri Justice Chaudhary Pratap Kishore Mishra, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Sashikanta Mishra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Sindhuwala Mishra. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 17th June 1999 until 4th January 2004. I request Honorable Shri Justice Aditya Kumar Mahapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Shivani Patra, spouse of late Justice P.K. Patra, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. Honorable Shri Justice Bimal Prasad Das, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Aditya Kumar Mahapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Neeraj Bala Das. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 17th June 1999 until 14th November 2012.
May I now have the honor to request Honorable Dr. Justice Vidyut Ranjan Sadangi, Judge, High Court of Orissa, and Chairman Events Committee, to kindly do the honors to felicitate former judges of the High Court of Orissa. Honorable Sri Justice A. Suryanarayan Naidu. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa, where he served from 29th September 2000 to 4th July 2010. Honorable Shri Justice Madan Mohan Das, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. And I request Honorable Mr. Justice Aditya Kumar Mahapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Dr. Manjushri Patnaik. His Lordship got elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa from 20th November 2003 and served till 4th February 2014. Justice Raghunath Biswar, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. And I request Honorable Mr. Justice V. Narsingh, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Biswar. His Lordship got elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa and served from 5th July 2004 to 31st March 2012. Honorable Shri Justice Nityananda Prusti, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Justice V. Narasingh, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Basantalata Prusti. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa and served from 14th July 2004 to 15th October 2008. May I request Honorable Mr. Justice P.P. Satpathy, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Meera Mishra, spouse of late Justice J.P. Mishra, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. Honorable Shri Justice Ashok Kumar Samantray, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I would request Honorable Justice B.P. Satpathy, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Sneha Manjari Samantray. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa and served from 29 September 2004 to 19 February 2008. I would request everyone to give a big round of applause. Honorable Shri Justice Vinod Prasad, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Justice B.P. Satpathy to kindly felicitate Madam Kanchana Prasad. His Lordship was elevated as Judge of Allahabad High Court on 5th October 2005 and was transferred and joined High Court of Orissa on 2nd July 2014. Honorable Shri Justice Harjinder Singh Bhalla, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Murahari Sri Raman, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Alka Bhalla. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, Punjab and Haryana High Court on 1st April 2006 and took oath as Judge of High Court of Orissa on 28th October 2010. Honorable Shri Justice Viswanatha Mahapatra, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice M.S. Raman, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Kanaka Manjari Sahu. His Lordship was elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa on 7th November 2007. Honorable Shri Justice Subhash Chandra Parija, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. And I request Mr. Justice M.S. Raman to kindly felicitate Madam Kavita Parija. His Lordship got elevated as Judge, High Court of Orissa from 7th November 2007 and served till 1st July 2018.
Thank you, Your Lordship. May I now request Honorable Shri Justice Biswanath Rath, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate the former judges of High Court of Orissa as a mark of our gratitude and reverence. Honorable Shri Justice Vijay Kumar Naik, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Vijay Lakshmi Patnaik. His Lordship served as a judge of the High Court of Orissa from 7th October 2009 until 2nd February 2018. Honorable Shri Justice Birakishar Mishra, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Debasmita Mishra. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 25th January 2011 until 1st June 2013. Honorable Shri Justice Raghubir Das, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Pankajini Das. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa, from 4th January 2013 until 13th February 2016. Honorable Dr. Justice Akshay Kumar Rath, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 20th June 2013 until 13th November 2019. Honorable Shri Justice Biswajit Mahanti, former Judge, High Court of Orissa. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 20th June 2013 until 21st October 2022. Honorable Shri Justice Satrughna Pujahari, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Gauri Shankar Satpathy, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Netramani Pujari. His Lordship was elevated as a Judge, High Court of Orissa on 29th November 2013, where he served until 22nd November 2017, and again served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 19th November 2018 until 23rd September 2022. Honorable Shri Justice Pramad Patnaik, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Gauri Shankar Satpathy, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Sanchita Das. His Lordship was elevated as a Judge of the High Court of Orissa on 24th September 2014, and His Lordship again served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 8th February 2019 until 14th September 2021. I request everyone to kindly give a big round of applause. Honorable Shri Justice Jatindra Prasad Das, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Chittaranjan Das, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Srimantini Das. His Lordship served as a Judge of High Court of Orissa from 17th April 2015 till 19th May 2019. Honorable Shri Justice Durga Prasanna Chaudhary, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Chittaranjan Das, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Sujata Chaudhary. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 17th April 2015 till 3rd July 2018. Honorable Dr. Justice Akshay Kumar Mishra, former Judge, High Court of Orissa, and I request Honorable Shri Justice Chittaranjan Das, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate Madam Sarita Tripathi. His Lordship served as a Judge, High Court of Orissa from 19th November 2018 till 8th November 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, may I have the privilege to request Honorable Sri Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India, to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable Sri Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, former Judges of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, Justice B.R. Sarangi, Judge, High Court of Orissa, Justice Vishwanath Rath, High Court of Orissa, esteemed judges of the High Court of Orissa, sitting and retired, former Chief Justices of the various other High Courts who had travelled through Orissa High Court or who had gone from Orissa High Court, Mr. Ashok Kumar Parija, the Learned Advocate General for State of Orissa, Mr. Dharanindra Naik, President of the Orissa High Court Bar Association, members of the Orissa High Court, my dear friends, senior and young, and my contemporaries, the court staff, ladies and gentlemen. One of the previous speakers was praising Justice Muralidhar. I had the privilege to work with Chief Justice Muralidhar, of course, as the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court for 16 months. And you see, we are talking about pandemic. If I know him, he has read The Old Man and the Sea, written by Ernest Hemingway, who says, man can be defeated, man cannot be ever defeated. Man can be destroyed, man cannot accept defeat. Odisha High Court Bar Association, sitting judges and the Chief Justice did not accept defeat during the pandemic. My heartfelt congratulations. I am extremely delighted to be associated with the felicitation ceremony in the celebration of the 75th anniversary of the High Court of Orissa. I must admit with affection that the individual happiness further gets accentuated because of the collective fraternity here that comes with immense nostalgia. Yesterday, while we were meeting over dinner, I was recollecting all the contributions they have done for the institution. They have devoted their time and energy. Their contribution is unforgettable. It's absolutely excellent. Odisha High Court is the highest constitutional court in the state. And while you are celebrating this occasion with a sense of pride, it adds intellectual vigor and emotional commitment. I must share two experiences. One, I had just done the bar, 2 months old. I was given a second appeal to argue before Justice S.K. Ray. I thought the Honorable Judge will give me 10 minutes indulgence. But the judge heard me for 50 minutes, guided me, and he told, young man, argue on your own. Do not argue on the basis of any kind of border knowledge, because Mr. B. Paul, if I am correct, Justice G.B. Patnaik was associated with him in the beginning, and he was guiding me. Justice S.K. was kind enough to admit the matter. You might be surprised why I'm taking water. While I was an advocate, I never took water. While I was a judge, I never took water. Not that you are making me nervous that I am taking water. I am taking water because water contains 72% of your body. I must look after the 72% of my body, and also you. Never, never neglect water. Water is bounded and embedded with nostalgia. Coming back to that, another incident which I am impelled to narrate. It was the Court of Justice Sachidananda Acharya, whom we lovingly at the bar used to call Justice Sachi Acharya. I was arguing a civil revision. The point taken was the appeal was not mentionable, and the district judge had submitted a report that yes, he had made a mistake, and though he was assisted by senior counsel from both sides, no one had told that the appeal was not mentionable. He was apologetic. Being young, I had still not completed a year. I read the report, I was overconfident, and I read the report and I asked the Honorable Judge to do the needful. The other side cited a judgment by Chief Justice G.K. Mishra of 1965. One, if it is a matter of court fee or revenue, the defendant has nothing to do with it. And second, if the justice has been done, High Court should not interfere in the civil division. Justice Acharya, true to his nature, said, young man, you take time, prepare yourself with regard to jurisdiction, argue. I argued on 3 to 4 occasions, but in the ultimate eventuality, the matter met its fate, dismissal. But it made me confident that I can speak my propositional points in a court of law. What I am trying to tell you, High Court makes a member of the bar grow. Never, never neglect the High Court where you practice. I don't think anybody would be disagreeing with me. I don't think your Chief Justice also would be disagreeing. His mother court. Now let's talk about the bar. You see, when I talk about the bar, I always mean I am a member of the bar and I am talking to my senior or junior friends. I respect every member of the bar. Never ignore a junior member of the bar because you never know not whether he knows slightly more or slightly less, a point which you do not know. But you have to learn from the bar as a member of the bar. Also, it is as old as the sea that unless one learns at the bar, it will be difficult to learn. I had the privilege to observe the stalwarts of our bar association, late Gangadhar Rath, Ranjit Mahanti, Viren Mohan Patnaik, Bipin Bihari Rath, Prabir Palit, Ramakanta Mahapatra, Gobind Das, Naren Mukherjee, Ashok Das, Girija Shankar Bahidar, Ashok Mukherjee, Salil De, and many others. I must add with immediacy that there are also many eminent lawyers at present, and that is the gift of the past. That is why one is compelled to remember what Oliver Wendell Holmes had once said. The law is made by the bar, even more than the bench. You assist us, we pen the judgment. So you make the law, and we are a catalyst in making the law, though it is called eventually judgment law. That's different. I have no hesitation in saying Orissa High Court Bar Association has gloriously lived up to this thought that we must assist with originality and maintain its tradition of that originality. Not for nothing, it has been said that one can be victorious if he or she or he never forgets to learn. One has to remember that learning is akin to capital asset, as Benjamin Gordon would like to put it. I have been told that the digital climate has become quite friendly with the judiciary in the state of Orissa. And for the said activity, the learned Chief Justice, I mean it, Chief Justice, learned judges, members of the district judiciary, the lawyers class in entirety, and the staff deserve uninhibited appreciation. It is indubitably and irrepressibly a progressive step and materializes the constitutional requirement and the postulate of access to justice. And for this, all of them deserve to be congratulated, and we do so from the core of our hearts. On this august occasion, I would like to add that the High Court has been focused on imparting justice. And as a student of law, I understand the perspective of the bar and the bench has been quite balanced. The said attitude reflects the nobility of the profession and the dignity of the bench. That is the fundamental grammar of our institution, of our constitution. In this pleasant and delightful occasion, I am thanking you from the core of my heart for your courteous patience. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Indeed, it is a great pleasure to listen to Sri Justice Deepak Misra, former Chief Justice of India, and we are extremely delighted to express our heartfelt thanks to Chief Justice Deepak Misra for his motivating words, paying respect to both the bar and the bench. May I have the honor of requesting Honorable Sri Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, to kindly address the august assembly.
My Lord Justice Gawai, Judge Supreme Court of India, My Lord Dr. Muralidhar, the Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice of the Orissa High Court, Honorable Judges of this Court, Learned Advocate General, President of the High Court Bar Association, members of the Bar, and my esteemed former colleagues who have present here for this grand felicitation ceremony. At the outset, I can say that this felicitation ceremony is an innovation. Maybe for the first time I am seeing, because I have seen 2-3 Golden Jubilee celebrations, including the celebration of Golden Jubilee in the Supreme Court, as well as the Guwahati High Court and Rajasthan High Court. But nowhere I had seen this felicitation of former judges of this court. And therefore I congratulate, I take the liberty of making my thanks not only for me, but also for all the former judges who are present here, time spending and coming all this distance for this. We are all thankful to you, Dr. Muralidhar, and your companion judges of this court. Completion of 75 years for any institution is a great event in the history of that institution. But in case of High Court, it is an event of greater public importance as the institution has served the cause of law and justice and consequently calls for rejoicing and celebration. But the celebration, in my opinion, is not merely an occasion for exchanging pleasantries and taking of platitudes. It is more a time for introspection and heart searching. The court symbolizes the acme of judicial system in the state, and the system normally represents the transformation of the ideal rule of law and the justice. The destiny of each one of us who have been or were practicing lawyers and those on the bench in the past and the present is linked with this judicial system, and it becomes necessary to have a close look at that system and to think whether the system has functioned well or there is some gap somewhere which can be plugged. When I start searching in that regards to July 1948, when 4 honorable judges, starting from Chief Justice B.K. Rai, had taken oath, and I, as a school student, had seen that function where my teacher had told me that the institution is a great institution and you will know it about later in life. At that point of time, I never knew that I will also be a part of this institution and I will die with this institution. At that time, the number of judges were only 4. When I started practicing as an advocate in 1962, the number of judges had become 5. When I became a judge of this court, 21 years after, the number of judges had become 7 then. And today, the judge strength is 24, 6 times the more than what the original strength is. Undoubtedly a great achievement, but having regard to the backlogs of the cases and the pendency, I believe the judge strength should be still more. I received the annual report of 2022 of the High Court of Orissa recently, and after going through the same, I can state before this gathering that there has been an all-round improvement of this institution, and the institution has been attempting to fulfill the constitutional obligation and quite alive to the changes in technological field, and has also endeavored to incorporate the same in the justice delivery system. The report undoubtedly says that 75 years has been satisfying in terms of achieving the goal set for the institution at the beginning. There has been tremendous infrastructure development, and the new High Court building is giving a different look, providing accommodation for a number of judges who would be occupying this institution in future. You have been able to digitize the old records. As a result, the problem of preserving records would no longer remain. This institution has been the unique distinction of having a justice museum, and I must tell all my colleagues who are present here to make at least a visit to that institution for 15 minutes before you leave this place. During 75 years, the High Court has the proud distinction of having contributed as many as 8 judges to the Supreme Court of India, out of which 3 of us would end their career as Chief Justice of India. I think it ought to have been 4 by now, but unfortunately one of us missed that position. I would consider this to be undoubtedly an achievement, since the Calcutta High Court, which is the oldest High Court and much bigger High Court, there have been 6 only as Chief Justice of India. That apart, as many as 10 honorable Chief Justices of this court, many of whom are present here, coming from other places, have been elevated to the Supreme Court. I am sure, as a part of their love and affection, they are present here in this felicitation ceremony. Coming from Kerala, Vineet and Roy coming from Delhi, Justice Subramaniam, Chief Justice Burman Roy from Calcutta, and many others from different parts of the country. Which reminds them that once you come over here, blessings of Lord Jagannath are always there, not only for your prosperity, but for your well-being and good health. When I took oath as a Chief Justice of Patna High Court way back in 1995, the Chief Minister there had told me that whosoever comes to Patna as Chief Justice gets elevated to the Supreme Court. That may be correct then, but I would say that whosoever has come to the Orissa as Chief Justice, he has been elevated to the Supreme Court. And I hope that the present Chief Justice will follow soon. But in my view, the image of the court doesn't solely depend upon the architectural beauty and the spaciousness of the court building, but it depends essentially upon the way the cases are handled, the extent of confidence the institution inspires to the parties, upon the promptness or absence of delay in disposal of cases, and after all, on the credibility of the institution. The respect for the court and the judicial system depends upon the way it satisfies the hope and aspiration of the common man and in quest of justice, and in keeping the scale of justice even in the legal combat between the rich and the poor, between the mighty and the weak, and between the state and its citizen. The consumer of justice wants unpolluted, expeditious and inexpensive justice. Looking at the number of cases which are now pending in court, I feel that as compared to the number of cases that were pending when I left the court in 1995 is quite high, as much as 1,64,000 on 31st of December 22. And the figure by any standard must be held to be quite high. Of course, there has been a greater number of disposal in 222 compared to 221. Nevertheless, the figure shown at the end of December 22 is certainly a matter to be thought of. I have always thought that the present generation of judges and lawyers are much more intelligent, much more ambitious, much more focused in their attempt. Therefore, it is the bounden duty of you, the present number of judges over here and the lawyer, to find out and evolve methodology, how quickly you will be able to eradicate the past number and come it to a reasonably comfortable level. Famous Lord Justice Denning had said that justice is rooted in confidence and confidence is destroyed when right-minded go away thinking that a judge is biased. There may be several reasons resulting in error that has mounted up, namely the lack of punctuality, the lack of laxity, the lack of control over the case file, grant unnecessarily adjournment on mere asking for undue popularity, or on account of a strike call from the bar. The time of the court is sacrosanct, and no judge or member of the bar has any right to waste it. It would be the mission of the judiciary to enforce constitutional guarantee and protect and preserve basic human rights of the people and reach social justice to the common man. To achieve this objective, it is necessary that both the two wings of the administration of justice namely the bench and the bar, must coordinate and cooperate with each other. Unless the bar extends a helping hand, the bench cannot achieve anything single-handed, and together they can meet any challenge, including the threat to independence of the judiciary. I must thank the Chief Justice of High Court and his team of judges to have thought of felicitating all of us, and undoubtedly this is an idea noble and new one. I extend my gratitude to the present generation of judges in charge of this institution for this felicitation ceremony, and I express this thanks not only for me but on behalf of all my former colleagues. But before I conclude, I want to impress upon two things. One is, when I became a judge way back in 1980s, there were about 7 judges and it became 12, and there was a single lady judge in the High Court. But today the judge strength having doubled, you are still having 1 single lady judge. It should be at least 2, and steps should be taken in the near future. Second thing I want to express, this is a grievance of mine which I have always made, that people in the helm of affairs, be it the executive government prior to second judge's case, or be it the collegium subsequent to the second judge's case, whosoever has been the appointing authority, Orissa High Court is being ignored in the matter of appointment of Chief Justices and in the matter of elevation to the Supreme Court. I always pose this question, that the senior most judge of a High Court has a constitutional right to be appointed as Chief Justice of High Court when the seniority comes. But you can't ignore that merely because by introduction of the transfer policy and getting somebody from other High Court. How is it possible that more than 2 or 3 judges from the same High Court are Chief Justice of different High Court, and several High Courts, including Orissa, going without a High Court? I myself became a Chief Justice only after 4 years when there were no Chief Justice from this court. And second, in the matter of representation in the Supreme Court, there is a convention, I hope the convention still continues, that as far as possible, each High Court must be represented in the Supreme Court. When in 2001, 3 of us from this High Court with a judge strength of 12 could be elevated to the Supreme Court, how is it that for last more than 3 years there is none from this court in the Supreme Court? Are these people inefficient in any manner? I had the privilege of arguing in several High Courts of this country. I had the privilege of being in the Supreme Court for more than 7 years, and where I have heard the lawyers from different parts of the country. I can vouchsafe that the standard of bar this year is in no way inferior to the level or standard of bar in other places, even though people here are not exposed to so many branches of cases. It is true that a lawyer in Bombay, Delhi or Calcutta might have a greater approach, but if you are fundamentally strong, then no amount of case law, whether you have dealt with your life or not, is immaterial. So that is a grievance of mine. And in fact, I must confess that when 3 of us from this High Court were in the Supreme Court, many people, including political level, had a grievance that how from 12, 3 could be there. On that day, I definitely thought that Orissa will never be forgotten hereafter. But alas, for last 3 years, there is none, and my hope has belied. I do not know where lies the defect or how it can be remedied, but in this August gathering, and this is a solemn occasion where I thought I must express my feeling openly to all concerned. This is a felicitation ceremony, this is a joyous occasion, this is a solemn occasion also, and we are really enamored with the type of felicitation ceremony. Lunch is about to come, we are hungry, but we are more eager to hear the star witness of this function today, Mr. Justice B.R. Gawai, the Judge of Supreme Court of India. So I would not take any further time. I congratulate you all, those who have arranged this, and thank you all for making this grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your open-minded views and also making all of us nostalgic and taking us back to the bygone days down the memory lane. Now I deem it an honor and privilege to invite Honorable Sri Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly deliver the keynote address.
The Honorable Chief Justice of the Orissa High Court, my dear friend Dr. Muralidhar, Honorable Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Deepak Mishra, the former Chief Justice of India, all the Honorable former judges of the Supreme Court who had an occasion to work in Orissa High Court, all the former Chief Justices of Orissa High Court, all the former judges of Orissa High Court, Dr. Sarangi, Justice Vishwanath Rath, and all my esteemed brother and the only sister judges from the Orissa High Court, the learned Advocate General Shri Ashok Parija, the President of the High Court Bar Association, Shri Dharnidhar Naik, Shri Pada, the Deputy Solicitor General for India, the senior members of the bar, the designated as well as the non-designated senior members, all the members of the bar, the distinguished better halves of the distinguished dignitaries who have also been felicitated today, the judicial officers present here from the state of Odisha, the Registrar General and the members of Registry as well as the staff of the High Court, and dear friends. It gives me a great pleasure to be with you this August afternoon. At the outset, I must congratulate the Honorable Chief Justice and the judges of Odisha High Court as well as the members of the Orissa High Court Bar Association and the staff on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the Odisha High Court. I am extremely happy to be a part of these celebrations and especially to felicitate the legends and stalwarts who have contributed immensely to the institution of judiciary. As a matter of fact, for last 1 year, Justice Muralidhar and I were trying the idea of coming to Odisha High Court for some function, but somehow or the other, it couldn't happen. At times I was already preoccupied. But I think the destiny wanted me to be here to felicitate the legends of the bar who have immensely contributed, who have immensely sacrificed and made this institution a great. I'm really happy to be the part of this celebration where I get an opportunity to honor the contributions of the senior members of the judiciary from whom all of us have learnt a lot. I won't go into the history of the establishment of the Odisha High Court. The learned President of the Association, as well as the Honorable Chief Justice, have already referred to the history as to how this High Court came to be established. Initially, it was a part of Calcutta, then it became a part of Bihar High Court, thereafter a circuit bench of Bihar High Court, and after a long fight of almost 30 years, the permanent High Court came to be established. However, I find that it will be apposite to refer to the contributions of some of the legends who have contributed to the establishment of this bar. Finding the need to have the permanent High Court, a committee came to be appointed under the chairmanship of the then Advocate General Mr. B.K. Ray, and who recommended the establishment of the permanent High Court. The Ray Committee observed, and I quote, "The circuit system does not completely answer the argument from distance, and that designed as it was for the wants of a division, it has proved inadequate to the needs of a province." Dr. Kailash Nath Kaju, the then Governor of Odisha and also an eminent lawyer, in anticipation of the functioning of the Odisha High Court, expressed, and I quote, "But for our own High Court, like the temple of Jagannatha, will be dearer to us and more sacred to us than the temples of justice elsewhere. I hope and pray that this temple of justice will tend to the moral and material advancement of the people." I unquote. It will be relevant to note that when the movement for establishing different high courts was going on, and prior to that, the power to issue prerogative writs was only vested with the 4 high courts which were established under the latest patent. The Constituent Assembly witnessed the debates for giving these powers also to all other high courts. The speeches of Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer as well as K.M. Munshi would reveal that they say that the Constitution was to be a living charter that would frame fundamental rights of citizens which it need to be enforced, and not granting the said power to any other high court would result in citizens having to come to Delhi to secure their rights at the Supreme Court. He recognized that the power and independence of the High Court needs to be maintained so that the liberties and rights of the citizens are not curtailed by a majority in the legislature. Today, these words ring truer than ever as High Courts, alongside the Supreme Court, act as a custodian of democracy, disseminating constitutional ethos to the public at large that look towards them to curb any excesses. In the last 75 years, the Odisha High Court has immensely contributed to the development of law in the country. It has pronounced various judgments which truly stand the test of the time and are still cited as a law prevailing today across the various courts of the country. Though there are a plethora of judgments, I will only refer to few of them. As Honorable Justice Patnaik said that everybody is waiting for lunch, and therefore I won't like to stand between you and the lunch for a long time. For instance, even before the promulgation of the Constitution, in A. Narayan Murthy versus the King in 1949, the High Court held that every prisoner has a right to consult a lawyer. Any infringement of this rule, the court observed, would be a serious impediment to the right of a prisoner to have assistance of a lawyer in the conduct of this case. And we find that this view of the Odisha High Court in 1949 has been fortified by the Supreme Court subsequently in various other judgments. We have always been talking about the independence of judiciary. But as early as in 1992, in the case of Bhavani Shankar Tripathi versus the Secretary to the Government of Odisha, Justice R.C. Patnaik, the question was whether the seat of the High Court could be transferred from Cuttack to Bhubaneswar. The Honorable Justice Patnaik, speaking for the bench, observed, and I quote him, "The High Court, the apex of the state, is not a mere lifeless edifice of bricks and mortar standing on a parcel of land. It is a living entity, the bar being its heart and soul. The other items are its limbs, assisting in dispensation of justice. It is a temple, its presiding deity is justice. Lawyers are its priests, rest are votaries discharging their assigned role. Entertaining an idea of shifting a temple is considered a sacrilege except in exceptional circumstances and when it is unavoidable. Only compelling, cogent and convincing grounds may justify shifting of a temple. The bar is not a mere conglomerate of law graduates. Its glory in its tradition, which is not acquired but grows in course of time. Over the ages, by the consecrated and dedicated services rendered to the cause of justice by the members of their sweat, toil and tears. Tradition of the Cuttack bar rolls back to ancient times, growing and gathering strength from generation to generation of lawyers. Its interaction with the High Court, having commenced with the functioning of the circuit bench of the Patna High Court at Cuttack. That is how, even as on today, the seat of the Odisha High Court remains at Cuttack. Nowadays, we see a quite misuse of public interest litigations. At times, public interest litigations are nothing else than a publicity interest litigation. And as early as in 1997, one of my respected esteemed colleagues, Justice Arijit Pasai, sitting with Justice S.N. Fukan, lamented on the misuse of PIS, and I quote him, "The courts of justice should not be allowed to be polluted by unscrupulous litigants by resorting to the extraordinary jurisdictions. Public interest litigation is a weapon which has to be used with great care and circumspection. And the judiciary has to be extremely careful to see that behind the beautiful well of public interest, any ugly private malice, vested interest and or publicity seeking is not lurking. It is to be used as an effective weapon in the armory of law for delivering social justice to the citizens. The attractive brand name of public interest litigations should not be used for suspicious product of mischief. I had recently come across one of the public interest litigations coming from this state, but since it is not a practice to quote one's own matters, I would refrain from referring to it. In Basanti Mohanty versus State of Odisha, a bench presided over by another eminent jurist, Justice Hon'Ble Justice B.L. Ansaria, the then Chief Justice of High Court, interpreted the word authority under Article 226 of the Constitution expansively. It gave a widest possible meaning, and it was held that not just a statutory body, but any body or persons performing a similarly placed public function would be amenable to the writ jurisdiction. Private education institutions, it was held, also perform public duty in as much as they perform a most useful social function in imparting education, and that too in accordance with the curriculum prescribed by respective statutory bodies. This High Court has produced many eminent legal luminaries who have adorned the office of the Chief Justice of India, the Judge of the Supreme Court, the various Chief Justice of various high courts. On account of my shortcomings, I may not be in a position to refer to all of them, but this I'll be only referring to some of the legal luminaries in a representative capacity, but non-mentioning of anyone may not be taken as a denial of their contribution. I would owe an apology if I forget to mention any name. One of the first of the great giants from this court comes to mind is Justice Rangnath Mishra, who was Chief Justice of High Court and later went on to become the 21st Chief Justice of India. In the Supreme Court, Justice Mishra was a part of 5-judge bench in Union Carbide Corporation versus Union India and others, as all of us know, arose out of the Bhopal gas tragedy. It settled the claims of millions of people who had suffered on account of the gas leakage. And recently, all of us know that Union of India had made an attempt to review that judgment, but the Constitution bench rejected and said that no review was warranted. He also authored the majority opinion in SP Sampath Kumar versus Union of India, which was subsequently considered by another constitution, L. Chandra Kumari, holding that while the administrative tribunals would exercise the powers which initially vested in the High Courts insofar as service matters are concerned. In the celebrated case of Sheila Barse versus Union of India, the Supreme Court took major steps to protect the rights of physically or mentally challenged children or abandoned and destitute children, who had also been put in jails across the country for safe custody. The court held that the children were the national asset. It was observed that it was the duty of the state to look after the child with a view to ensuring full development of its personality. The court expressed its anguish that a jail is hardly a place where a child should be kept, as it would have the effect of dwarfing the development of the child, exposing him to beneficial influences, coercing his conscience and alienating him from the society. As such, it was urged that the central government initiate parliamentary legislations on the subject so that there is complete uniformity in regard to the various provisions relating to children in the entire territory of the country. The another legal stalwart who fortunately is present among us, Justice G.B. Patnaik, he served as a judge of Orissa High Court for over 19 years before becoming the Chief Justice of the Patna High Court and ultimately adorning the highest position in the country in the judiciary by becoming the 32nd Chief Justice of India. He was a part of majority judgment in TMA Pai Foundation and others versus State of Karnataka, where it was entirely upheld the right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice under Article 31, read with Article 29(2) of the Constitution, subject to considerations of national interest. Monumental strides were also made in the realm of personal law when the Constitution bench of which Justice Patnaik was again a member, and he headed the bench, held that a Muslim husband's liability to maintain his divorced wife extends beyond the iddat period, thus harmonizing the provisions of Muslim personal law and the criminal procedure. I think this is a major step in the regard of social justice insofar as Muslim women are concerned. When I talk about Justice Patnaik, I am reminded of Justice V.A. Mohta, who was closely associated with Justice Patnaik, and he hailed from my bar, that is the Nagpur Bar Association. One of the finest judges we had at Nagpur and also very popular Chief Justice in Orissa. I always considered him to be my role model. The another scholar that we are felicitating today is Hon'Ble Justice Deepak Mishra, and another son of soil who adorned the office of the Chief Justice of India by becoming the 45th Chief Justice of India. apart from his judicial acumen, I must recollect his elephantine memory. We had met at Delhi airport in 2005 or so when he was traveling to Patna, and in 2017 when he became the chairman of NALSA and he held the meeting of the NALSA online. We immediately after seeing my face, he said that I have met you somewhere, your face appears to be similar. And then I reminded him, when did we meet? His judgment in Joseph Shine versus Union of India, wherein he held that section 497 of the Indian Penal Code prescribing penal action for adultery was archaic and constitutionally invalid, as it stripped a woman of her autonomy, dignity and privacy. In Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, by partially striking down section 377 of the Indian Penal Code as being violative of the right to dignity and the right to privacy, it was observed that transformative constitutionalism seeks to further and develop an atmosphere wherein every individual is bestowed with adequate opportunities to develop socially, economically and politically. Discrimination of any kind would strike at the root of such a democratic society. Today's day is somewhat emotional and nostalgic for me. I am getting an opportunity to felicitate some of my dear friends. One of them is, of course, one of the most popular Chief Justices of this High Court, Justice Vinit Saran, who is like an elder brother to me. When I shifted to 2019 and all the judges who have come to Supreme Court know that when you come to Supreme Court, initially you are like a foreigner. And he and Uma Bhabhi made me comfortable in Delhi. We are a family. He is not Justice Vinit Saran for me, he is Vinit Bhai. I was really happy to be part of all his felicitations when he turned 65, and I think this is a culmination thereof. He has delivered many important judgments. In fact, we wanted to sit together for a longer time, but we could get an opportunity only in the vacation. His judgment in New India Assurance Company Limited versus Hilly Multipurpose Court, wherein he interpreted that a time of 45 days for granted to file a reply to the consumer complaint was mandatory. It was held that while considering the provision, the purpose interpretation that has been enacted for the purpose of benefit of the consumer has to be taken into consideration. Various other judges from Orissa have adorned the benches of the Supreme Court. Justice B.L. Ansaria, Justice G.T. Nanavati, who also headed the commission which probed into 1984 and 2022 riots. Justice R.C. Patnaik, he served the Supreme Court for 9 years. Justice D.P. Mahapatra, who after his retirement also served as the chairman of Odisha Human Rights Commission. I think Madam Mahapatra is present amongst us. Then we had Justice P.K. Balakrishnan, who is amongst us, present here, who served as Chief Justice of both the Odisha as well as Jharkhand High Courts. Justice B.N. Agarwal, who served as a judge of the Patna High Court, after which he was appointed as the Chief Justice of the Odisha High Court and also enjoyed a long and brilliant tenure as the Supreme Court for about 9 years. His judgment, wherein the politicians residing in the Luton zone were required to be, the bungalows were required to be vacated, has become a landmark. Otherwise, the earlier practice was that even after a minister, David's office used to continue in the bungalow for years together. Justice Arijit Pasai has also served the Supreme Court for 8 years. I had the pleasure of knowing him from 2010 onwards when he had come to Aurangabad to inaugurate one of the buildings, and thereafter I want to grow with him. He's an ardent Ganesh Bhakt, and we always greet each other with Jai Ganesh. This is A.K. Ganguly was initially transferred to Odisha High Court as the senior most puisne judge and eventually became the Chief Justice of the High Court before his elevation to Supreme Court. I had an occasion to be with him in NJC at Bhopal in 2011. There was a workshop on constitutional law, and I still recollect his guidance to the High Court judges. He stated that the High Court is also a state within the meaning of Article 12 of the Constitution of India, and therefore, whenever the judges do justice, deliver judgments, they are bound by the provisions contained in Part 4, that is, Directive Principles of the Constitution of India. Justice Patnaik, A.K. Patnaik, was the judge of the Odisha High Court, and went on to become the Chief Justice of both the Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh High Courts before his elevation to Supreme Court. Since Justice Bobre was the Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh High Court, I have come to know many of the judges in Madhya Pradesh High Court, and his popularity graph in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh High Court is still at the highest level. He is considered by both Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh High Courts to be their own. He has given us the fresh editions on interpretation of law by G.P. Singh, a scholarly work which helps all the lawyers in arguing the cases and judges in writing. I still refer to G.P. Singh, edited by Justice A.K. Patnaik, whenever a complicated question of interpretation of law arises for consideration. Then we have Justice Gopal Gowda, who initially served as the Chief Justice of Odisha High Court and thereafter had on the seat in the Supreme Court. His judgments on social and economic justice still guide us when we consider the issues before us. Similarly, Justice Nagappan, Justice A.K. Goyal have served this institution as well as the Supreme Court. Justice Amitava Rai is present here. In 2019, when I became a Supreme Court judge, immediately after my elevation before a three-judges bench, one of his judgments, very beautifully written judgments on promissory estoppel, which was reversed by the division bench, Guwahati High Court, fell up for consideration before us, and we had no other option but to set aside the judgment of the division bench and uphold the view taken by Justice Amitava Rai. There are many fairly familiar faces present here. Justice Naski, with whom I had an opportunity to work in the Bombay High Court. He is a very strong person. An occasion to meet on certain occasions. And I had another friend who made a Amitabh Bachchan entry, Justice Indrajit Mohanty, and also I think he has made an Amitabh Bachchan exit. I had a pleasure of working with him in Bombay. When I was chairman of the Infrastructure Committee of Bombay High Court, he along with the and we did a lot in so far as the infrastructure in the Bombay High Court is concerned. I'm really grateful to the Odisha High Court, its Chief Justice, and all the judges. or Diamond Jubilee celebrations are held, that all the former judges, and not only all the former judges, but their better halves are also being felicitated. It's always said that behind every successful man, there is a strong woman behind such a man, and a man cannot succeed unless he has the support of his better half. I'm really grateful to the Odisha High Court for also felicitating the better halves of all the judges. And I'm really happy that I get this opportunity to felicitate these all scholars. I know my limitations. I know that I am a pygmy when I stand in the galaxy of all these scholars. But I must thank the High Court for giving me, a person like me, an opportunity to felicitate my senior peers. And before we forget, I would like to pay my homage to the one of the most venerable lawyers and social reformers, Utkal Gaurav Madhusudan Das, a lawyer and a social reformer. It's great that on his birth anniversary, the state of Odisha celebrates the Lawyers' Day. He was a pioneer of the Odisha movement and a staunch supporter of women's rights. Madhusudan Das, amongst others, is widely credited with opening of the bar to women advocates in India. It was due to the vehemence with which this objective was pursued. The Legal Practitioners (Women's Act 1923) finally removed the disqualification, affirming that, and I quote, "No woman shall, by reasons only of her sex, be disqualified from being admitted or enrolled as a legal practitioner or from practicing as such," I unquote. Before I conclude, I'll be failing in my duty the initiatives taken by the High Court and its future prospects. As the learned speakers earlier have said, that many infrastructure projects were undertaken during the regime of Justice Vinit Saran, and they are all being carried forward by under the dynamic leadership of Justice Dr. Muralidhar. His contribution to the technological development has been compared by one of my colleagues, Justice Ramasubramaniam. He quoted him to be Steve Jobs insofar as Indian judiciary is concerned. In the 75th celebration, when I and the learned Advocate General were traveling to Puri, he informed me that as a part of these celebrations, the lawyers' clerks were felicitated who had put in a sizable number of years. It's a very rare event because a lawyer cannot function unless his clerk is efficient, and recognizing the contribution of such lawyers' clerks shows the humility of the man and the institution. I am also informed that on the 28th April, on the birth anniversary of Utkal Gaurav Madhusudan Das, the senior lawyers will also be felicitated. The High Court of Orissa has taken up the helm of providing equal and unfiltered access to justice for all through various initiatives and outreach programs. In 2022, 4 national Lok Adalats were held within the High Court and in the district and other subordinate courts, resulting in expeditious disposal of as many as 2,460 cases. The Odisha High Court Legal Services Committee has also adopted a proactive approach by spearheading around 9,533 legal literacy awareness camps in different villages as well as jails. Individual success stories such as ensuring better living conditions for cancer patients in hospital, helping aged or disabled women get pension and social security benefits, go to prove the utmost dedication with which the state judiciary is working towards the fulfillment of the right of the citizens. I would not like to go in detail. The annual report contains all of them, but I must place on my record appreciation for the efforts taken by Dr. Muralidhar and his entire team in spearheading the infrastructural as well as the technological projects in the country, in the state of Orissa. The Museum of Justice is very close to his heart, which was inaugurated in 2017, and it serves to memorialize the legacy of the High Court of Orissa and offers a rich repository of times, as well as record of various judgments and news pertaining to the state judiciary dating back to the 19th century. The High Court has also notified a scheme for promising Lawyers of the Year award. This will really encourage the young lawyers to perform to their best. The long and celebrated history of the High Court of Orissa was founded on the principles of cooperation between the bar and the bench, and the shared values on how justice should be made accessible to each and every resident of the state. In the past 75 years, the High Court has rightly come to be regarded as custodian of the Constitution, having disseminated principles of law and jurisprudence that serve to enrich our citizens' rights even today. With multiple initiatives and programs seeking to weed out any limitations that may affect the justice delivery system, the High Court, as a writ court, truly serves the need of the general populace. Before I conclude, I would like to only emphasize one point, that all the institutions in the country which work under the Constitution, maybe executive, the legislature and the judiciary, they work for the common citizen of this country. The ultimate aim is to provide justice to the needy citizens. As I was referring to some of the judgments on social and economic justice, I would only like to quote Dr. Ambedkar, what he said on 25th of November 1949 while presenting the final draft of the Constitution. He said that we have promised political, social and economic justice. By principle of one vote, one person, one vote, one value, we have attempted to achieve political equality, political justice. But what about economic and social justice? On an economic plane, we have a society wherein the entire vast wealth of the country is concentrated in few hands, and the vast majority of the country finds it difficult to meet two ends of justice. On a social plane, we have a society which has been compartmentalized into 4 compartments and tight compartments wherein a transition from one compartment to other compartment is not possible. And he therefore said that if we do not make an attempt to remove these contradictions, the edifice of democracy, which we have so laboriously built, would fall down like a house of cards. And therefore, providing justice to the needy citizens of this country without undue delay and at the reasonable cost becometh the necessity of the day. I am sure that on this momentous occasion, the judges and the lawyers of the Orissa High Court would continue to march forward and achieve the goal of dispensing speedy and affordable justice to the citizens of the state of Orissa and achieve to fulfill the dreams of our constitution makers. I once again express my gratitude to the Honorable Chief Justice, all the judges of the Orissa High Court for giving me an opportunity to be with you on this august occasion and to felicitate my senior peers. I am also grateful to the Learned Advocate General and the state of Orissa for their hospitality and making excellent arrangements Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your benign presence and the keynote address. Now may I humbly request Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, to kindly felicitate the Chief Guest, Honorable Sri Justice B.R. Gavai, Judge, Supreme Court of India. I request all of you to please give a standing ovation to the felicitation of our esteemed Chief Guests. So, small as our gifts are, but our gesture is warm and honest. May the blessings of Lord Jagannath be showered on everyone, and particularly we are greatly elated to felicitate the esteemed Chief Guest of the occasion. Now we have come to the concluding part of the program. I humbly request Honorable Sri Justice Biswanath Ratha, Judge, Orissa High Court, to kindly propose vote of thanks.
Namaskar and very good afternoon to all. Esteemed dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the end of truly historic event today. At this juncture, I am reminded of a sloka from chapter 17 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which depicts different kinds of shraddha or reverence, which in my considered view is relevant for an occasion like this. Deva Duija Guru Pragya Pujanam So Ucha Marjanam Brahmachayam Ahimsa Cha Sarirang Tapa Uchyate. Today, we have the unique privilege and honor of august assembly of such persons who are learned and wise, undoubtedly be termed teachers for all of us. This function was just a token of our shraddha, the reverence for these great men who have contributed immensely to fulfilling the salutary ideal of justice enshrined in our Constitution. It is indeed a proud moment for all of us as we respectfully acknowledge the invaluable contributions of galaxy of legal luminaries present here. The occasion itself is no less pious, that is, celebration of 75th years of High Court of Orissa, an institution which is deeply committed to achieving the constitutional goal of dispensing justice to one and all. As we look back at the years gone by, we at the outset bow our heads in reverence to those illustrious sons of the soil, but for those persistent struggle and sacrifice, the High Court of Orissa would not have come into being. We salute Utkal Gaurav Madhusudan Das, who had laid the foundation for a separate High Court for the state of Orissa way back in 1960 on the eve of first sitting of the Circuit Court of the Patna High Court for Orissa, by hoping that it would soon be a permanent feature. True, his dream took 32 years to fructify Orissa High Court, taking birth ultimately in 1948. But today, when we stand strong as one of the leading high courts in the country in several aspects, we can't forget the contribution of such great judges of the state of Orissa. A long journey indeed. Today, standing on the eve of 75th years of High Court, we thought it fitting moment to express our deep reverence and respect by felicitating all those who have made this High Court of Orissa what it is today. The very fact that a sitting judge of the Supreme Court of India, 2 former Chief Justices of India, 7 former judges of the Supreme Court of India, 1 sitting Chief Justice, 8 former Chief Justices of High Court of Orissa, 2 sitting judges of other High Courts, and 30 former judges of the Orissa High Court, Orissa, have graced the occasion, only goes to show the importance attached to this ceremony. Your Lordships, your seminal contributions to the cause of justice in the form of many path-breaking and landmark judgments are indeed it is etched in golden words of posterity. If I may cite few instances, I know this is lunchtime and everybody must be eager, but there are few judgments should be cited here. Ramchandra Mardaraj Deo versus Bhalu Patnaik, Binapani Devi versus State of Orissa, Total Iron, Tata Iron and Steel Company versus State of versus Union of India, Union Carbide Corporation versus Union of India, Kehir Singh versus Union of India, Arunandi Roy, Mohammad Iqbal M. Saik, Daniel Latif versus Union of India, Youth Bar Association of India versus Union of India, Tahsin Punawala versus Union of India, Indian Young Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala, the Sabarimala, famous Sabarimala case, Ramlila Maidan incident in Somoto Reed Petition, Tapan Kumar Das versus Commissioner CMC PIL of Cuttack City, bringing tremendous improvement to the Cuttack City. Lily Thomas versus Union of India, disqualification of members of parliament on certain grounds. Siddha Matha versus Jagannath Temple. Then Bhavani Prasad Mishra, the state of Orissa, a rare decision helping the entire state of Orissa in streamlining their at least seeing the Lord in all the three chariots without any trouble. As to today's function, first and foremost, I on behalf of the High Court of Orissa extend deep sense of gratitude to my Lord Honorable Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge of Supreme Court of India, for his august presence and keynote address. Thank you, sir. Your Lordship's presence has given a true color to the function. I express sincere gratitude to Honorable Sri Justice G.B. Patnaik, former Chief Justice of India, for his august presence. I also thank His Lordship for his erudite and encouraging address for the state of Orissa. I also express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Sri Justice Deepak Mishra, former Chief Justice of India, and Madam Suprama Mishra for their august presence. I also thank His Lordship for his illuminating address. If the High Court of Orissa is being acknowledged today as the pioneer in many fields, the credit must go to our Chief Justice, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar. Ever since he took over 2 years ago, he has made it his mission as well as passion to transform the judiciary of the state into one of the best in the country. The idea behind today's function was also conceived by him. Let me inform the august audience that today's event is one amongst many such events conceived by His Lordship to remember our glorious history, legacy, and to honor all those who have made and continue to make this institution. Thank you, sir, for your vision, passion, commitment, and action, and achieving also ultimately. I also thank you for your address today. The constraint of time prevent me from referring to each of our honored guests individually by name. I may be excused for this. Sir, we are deeply indebted to all for accepting our invitation, choosing to be a part of this august gathering and making the event a great and memorable one. We are indeed blessed and encouraged by your gracious presence. I therefore sincerely thank the respected former judges of the Supreme Court India all present here, the Chief Justices of Jharkhand High Court, Chief Justice of the Jharkhand High Court, the former Chief Justices of this High Court, 2 sitting judges of the High Court of Calcutta and Jharkhand being part of this High Court again, all the former judges of the High Court of Orissa for their kind and meaning presence. I also thank their graceful spouses for accepting our invitation and being present to grace the occasion. I also thank respected spouse of late Honorable Justice D.P. Mahapatra and the respected spouse of our respected departed soul, late Justice R.K. Patra, and the 12 spouses of late former judges of the High Court of Orissa, who have all been kind enough to be present here. All you ma'ams, we are all grateful for your kind presence here. I also thank my sister and brother judges of the High Court for their personal involvement in organizing this event and as also for their kind presence and making it success. I thank their gracious spouses for their presence. I thank Sri Ashok Parija, Learned Advocate General, for his presence, erudite speech, as well as for cooperation in making this grand event success. I thank Sri Prasanna Kumar Pari, Learned Deputy Solicitor General for Orissa, for his gracious presence. I thank all the learned senior advocates for their presence. I thank Sri Dharnidhar Naik, Learned Senior Advocate and President of the Bar Association, and the other office bearers of the association for their presence and support. I thank the learned members of the bar for their presence in their large numbers and also the support in the success of the event taking place today. I thank the staff of Orissa High Court who have also made a great contribution in the success of this event. I thank the state government officials present here in this occasion for extending their full support to us for organizing such a grand event. I thank the Collector Cuttack and the DCP Cuttack for their unstinted support and cooperation and their presence. I must thank the comparer Dr. Mutunjay Ratha for making also the program colorful. Now I would thank the invisible yet strong workforce behind this stupendous event, but for whose tireless endeavors the program would not have been successful. Of course, I am referring to all the officers of the registry led by the Registrar General, Sri Patra, who have all literally burned midnight oil to bring the event to fruition. Thank you, dear officers. I thank all the staff of court who silently toiled for days together to make everything ready in time. I thank the friends from the print and electronics media for being always supportive to our cause and for carrying our message and voice to the large public in the state of Orissa. As I conclude, I am reminded of yet another sloka which is recited as a Shanti mantra at the end of many functions in this country and which I sincerely believe will sum up today's function aptly. It goes like, Swasti prajabhyo pari palyandam, nyayane margena mahi mahisam, go brahmanebhyo subhamastu nityam, lokaha samastaha sukhina bhavantu. I must disclose, maybe this is a self-disclosure, a personal disclosure. So I must make a confession. I was a counsel before most of the judges available here, right from Honorable Justice G.B. Patnaik on the dais till Justice Vishwajit Mahanti on the left to the dais, and of course Dr. Sarangi on the dais. I must congratulate my Chief Justice today. Maybe we could not have marked this for information of all present here. I say in this August event we have joined Kerala to Kanyakumari, Kerala to Kashmir, and West Justice Gawai till East Justice Das present here. So we have connected East, West and North, South all. Finally, I request to all present here to give a grand ovation to all the great stars judges present here who shall always be remembered for their illustrious contribution to this glorious institution. Thank you all. Jai Jagannath. Vande Utkal Janani.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your all-inclusive vote of thanks which is proposed in a very right way. May I now seek the permission of the Chief Guest to declare the function closed. The function is closed.